If the stars align, you and I'll be together. But you know I can't be here forever. It took some time to understand why. Oh, if the stars align, you and I'll be together. Together forever. Together forever. There's a feeling, I know I'm feeling, and it leads me to where I should be. Oh, nothing, I'm telling you, nothing will come in between when it's meant to be. 'Cause if the stars align, you and I'll be together. But you know I can't be here forever. It took some time to understand why. Oh, if the stars align, you and I'll be together. Together forever. We'll be together.
Yeah, why? Vik, Rita Morar.
Together forever.
All I do is leave it to the universe, let the line off. Girl, I'll be there with you till the day my time up. And I'll be your knight in shining, I got the armor. I just know that by your side no one can never harm us. Got some feelings in a way in which I thought I'd never. We've been through the storm many times, made us better. Girl, I do this all for you, this is your endeavor. This love too hot, make you lose a sweater. I'm just hoping that the stars align, and if the chances there to take, you know I'll make it mine. I put some Henny in a cup and I just rent it all off. And if you're still by my side, that's a telling sign. I don't wanna leave it up to fate, cause that's a fine line. I don't wanna leave it too late and miss the right time. In the hindsight, you know what to do right now. Put that pride to the side and let that ego down. Why?
If the stars align,
If the stars align, baby,
you and I'll be together. But you know I can't be here forever. It took some time to understand why. Oh, if the stars align, you and I'll be together. Together forever. Together forever. You and I. Together forever. Together forever.
ladies and gentlemen, you're now tuned in to Blossoms in Isolation. Yeah.
If the stars align, you and I'll be together.
Hi everybody, welcome to Music Hills, Season 2, Episode 17. How are you all? I hope you're being great. I can't believe we're already in May. We're nearly halfway through the year. This year is just pushing on so fast. Let's see who's joined. We're going to just wait for a few people to join. Today, I've got the amazing Vik Toreus, the one and only Vik Toreus on with me. So let's just see who's on. Hey, Dharmesh. Good to see you here. Hi, Kicks. So how have you all been? Hey, Shai. Thank you very much. And hey, Queely. So guys, thank you so much for joining me. I had a great little break over bank holiday. I explored London, and as you know that we are slowly coming out of lockdown, but got to still take those precautions out there. But it's just all positive news, and that's the main thing. And I hope you guys and your families and your loved ones have been well. Fingers crossed, or June we'll be back out there properly. Let's just hope that we just keep adhering to the rules and just do what we need to do. A big shout out to a few people. Firstly, I'd like to say happy birthday to my very own Annie, who I know is also, I think, probably fasting for Ramadan. So happy birthday, sis. Hope you had a great one. And also, I love to say happy birthday to Darius. His mama always joins us, Anjali, and Darius is very close to us, and we miss you very much, little champ, and can't wait to see you, to give you a present. So happy birthday, Darius. I know you're going to watch this afterwards. I'd also like to say Eid Mubarak to everybody that's going to be celebrating it out there this week. I hope your month has been so blessed, and that you've been able to appreciate and take in all the blessings that you have been receiving from earth to heaven, or to wherever you believe. So good luck for that, and make sure you enjoy it all safely. So I'd like to say hi to anybody that's joined first time here on Music Hills, whether it be via my YouTube or my Facebook. I'm Rita Morar. I am a music fusion artist, and I started talking about Music Hills back last March, would you believe it? Basically, Music Hills is a non-scripted conversation. I'll show you my, these are just notes, but literally I've got no questions for Vik, only just the one which you all know. And it's just basically a non-scripted conversation of what music means to somebody, because it's healed me, and I've always pondered what it means to other creatives, hence why I started the conversation. We are into the 69th episode. I can't believe we're here and we're still going, and we've moved on from Instagram to YouTube and to Facebook. So if you'd like to catch any of last season, check out my Instagram, Rita Morar. You'll be able to find it on my IGTV. I've had the amazing Apache Indian on, I've had Rishi Rich, to Juggy D, to all sorts of amazing artists, so make sure you do check it out. And obviously today we've got Vik, well-renowned DJ and artist in his own right, and I can't wait to speak to him as well. So keep it logged on. If you've got any questions for Vik, please do put them in the comments when he's around, and then we can start to talk about music. Alternatively, if you've got any questions for me as well, as I'm an artist, please do put it down, and we'll try our very best to answer it for you. Now, I've got a dedicated website called musichills.info. You'll be able to find all the information. And if you're still pondering what Music Hills is, there is a bit about Music Hills and what it's all about, and myself as well. As I run this independently, I'm an independent artist. All your help and support would really help me. So if you would buy me a coffee or be able to donate some little change to keep it going, it'd really mean a lot to me. But you guys being here with me means a lot too. So thank you so much for your lovely support. So as you know, we're going to get Vik on, and then we're going to talk about his journey. We're going to talk about his amazing events that he has put on and been part of. We're going to talk about United Colours, which is an amazing show that he hosts for Ruckus Avenue, and I believe it's on Twitch as well. And we are also going to talk about his Song of Solace, so that will be coming later. But for you first, I'm going to be singing, as usual, my Rita's rendition, and I forgot to put the words in, what it's called, but it's fine. So, as you know, sometimes I sing Hindi, sometimes I sing English, sometimes I do the fusion, but today I wanted to bring it home. And this is going to be dedicated to my mother and father, whose anniversary is tomorrow. I haven't seen them for a very long time. As you all know, who are supporting my journey, you know that my mother wasn't feeling very well. She's fighting it, and she's doing much better. So thank you all for your love and blessings for her. And I thought it'd be only fair that I would be singing them a song that reminds me of my childhood and reminds me of their love, and just remembering mum in the kitchen putting this record on while she's like cooking, and just bringing back those Bollywood vibes. So it's a song called Tu Is Tarah Se Meri Zindagi Mein Shamil Hai. It wasn't, I don't think it was very popular, the version that I'm actually going to be singing, and it's from a film Aap Aise To Na The, and it was an 80s track. So if you guys know that, please do let me know. Make sure you put the hearts and put the fires out there if you're feeling it. I know you're tuned in, Mum and Dad. I love you very much, and thank you for being strong, and I'm going to see you real soon. Also dedicating this to my brother Ravi. Well done for your first vaccination. I'm so proud of you. And also to my mother-in-law, Manju. Big, big love.
महकता है हर एक फूल किसी याद से महकता है तेरे ख्याल से जागी कोई फिजाएं हैं ये सांस पे रहे या प्यार की दुआएं हैं तू पास हो कि नहीं फिर भी तू मुकाबिल है जहाँ भी जाओ ये लगता है तेरी महफिल है तू इस तरह से मेरी जिंदगी में शामिल है हर एक शेर है मोहब्बत के नूर से रोशन हर एक शेर है मोहब्बत के नूर से रोशन ये रोशनी जो ना हो जिंदगी अधूरी है रहे वफा पे कोई हम सफर जरूरी है ये रास्ता कहीं तन्हा कटे तो मुश्किल है जहाँ भी जाओ ये लगता है तेरी महफिल है तू इस तरह से मेरी जिंदगी में शामिल है Yay! So that was for my mother and father. Happy anniversary, guys. Sorry we can't be with you tomorrow, but when lockdown is done, you know we're going to be celebrating hard, mum and dad. So big, big love to you. So shall we get on now? Shall we get Vik on? I think we should. I'm going to take off the reverb because I don't want to speak to him with reverb on. Hope you're ready, Vik. Bear with me. So we've got Vik Toreus in the house, and let's have him here. Hey, Vik.
Hello.
How
Yeah,
are
I'm
you?
doing well. I'm good, thanks. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. I can hear you.
Awesome.
Can you hear me?
Good, good. Thanks very much. Thank you so much for having me on your show. That was a
No.
really lovely performance, actually. So nice to hear that on a Monday night. And
Thank you.
yeah, I didn't realize it was your parents' anniversary. So happy anniversary
Oh,
to
thank
Rita's
you.
mom and dad. Guys, all the
Thanks.
best. And
I'll
like
tell
she
you,
Yeah.
they would say to me that if you haven't dedicated a song to me, us, then what are you living for? So I had to do it for them. So
Yeah.
thank you for joining me, Vic. Everybody out there, we've got Vik Toreus in the house. Sorry, I couldn't get my bearings right. If you guys have any questions for Vik Toreus, do drop them in the comments, as you know, and just let us know what you're thinking. Vic, if you just want to give a little bit about who you are and what you do for those who don't know you, and then we'll just get cracking with the questions.
Yeah, sure. I mean, so yeah, my name is Vic. Stage name is Vik Toreus. I am a professional full-time multi-genre DJ and music producer and radio host. I've been doing this for about 12, 13 years, maybe even 14 years, I think.
Wow.
And yeah, everything that I do is around music. I also have an events company as well.
Yeah.
I tour the world. Well, I did before COVID. And now I spend more of my time in music studio, making music, work with artists, writing songs, and do my radio show as well, like you mentioned earlier, United Colors.
Yeah, it's amazing program. We're definitely going to talk about that. Kuli's just saying hi. Thank you, Kuli. So if you guys have any questions, as I said, just put them in the comments for myself or Vic, or what we're talking about music and how it's helped us. So let's get it started. So Vic, what does music mean to you? I know it's a big question.
Yeah, that's such a huge question. I think, the first thing I would say is I probably have my parents to thank, because from a young age, I started playing the guitar and learning the piano in primary school. So they really encouraged me to take music lessons, which I did.
Yeah.
And at the time, I probably didn't take it as seriously as I should have. But as I was growing older, I did take it seriously, and I became much more indulged in music and various different styles and genres. And I think if I didn't really have that initial encouragement from my parents, then I may not have been as interested in music than how I am today.
Yeah.
And it might sound cliche, but I suppose music does bring out a certain feeling, a certain emotion when you hear it. If you want to become happy, music can help you with that. If you want to feel something sort of sad, or you want to reminisce on a certain aspect of your life, or you want to think about someone that's close to you, then music can help that in so many different ways. It almost brings out a different sense, almost like a sixth sense that you don't know about, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. No, it's like a force of energy that everybody is actually drawn to.
Absolutely.
And no,
absolutely.
I totally agree with you. And I think a lot of people out there that are watching actually agree with you too. For me, there's the same thing. I think it's such a blessing, isn't it, Vic, that we've been able to have that upbringing where our parents have moved us into something that has stayed with us, and and as you said, that it means so much to you as well. And my dad's watching, and I know that if I didn't have my father's encouragement as well, that I wouldn't still be doing hair music, because it's got a deeper meaning, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it definitely does. And I think, the other part of it is also the memories that it brings out. So we always remember where we were when we heard one of our favorite songs and what we were doing, what that means to us, which is why at some of the parties that I play at, throwback music and old school music has that nostalgic feeling. And when I sometimes play these older songs, for example, that bring out memories in people, I always get great feedback from that, because it just makes them feel something that they hadn't felt in a long time, and I managed to kind of bring that memory back into that experience that they were having as a party. So as a DJ, I'm privileged to be able to do that, to have that quote unquote power to give people that feeling once again.
Yeah, and I can actually vouch for that, because I've been at somewhere where you've performed, and you were rolling out the golden oldies on the hits and stuff, Vic. So know your music. So we are not worthy. So thank you.
Thank you.
We've got Kieran E in our house. Everyone's going on about my hair. Thank you, Kieran E. Big love to you. Thank you for joining tonight. An amazing artist in her own right too.
Yeah, from India.
From India. I hope you guys are keeping well out there, Kieran E. Big love to you, and Rishi Rich. Vic, you were talking about like memories. So what are the like memories that you remember like of growing up with music with your parents around? Do you have siblings, or are you just doing your own? And are there any great memories that you have about music and then you thought, oh, I really enjoy this?
Yeah, so I'd say my immediate family and probably my extended family, I don't think anyone worked in the music business or came from quite a strong musical background. But
Yes.
music was always in the household. So like I said
Yeah.
earlier, my parents encouraged me to learn the guitar at a young age. And, my dad was a big fan of 70s music, and my mom loves ABBA and
Who doesn't love ever?
yeah, Temptations and
Yeah.
the Jackson 5. And so when at home we would always have discussions about those styles of music and the artists and the bands. And that sort of influenced me as well growing up. It made me appreciate those styles of music, even though I didn't actually grow up listening to. Well, I was very, very young when some of those artists were releasing music. But it actually encouraged me to go back and research what they had done and learn about what kind of music they had been making and releasing. And that influences everything that I do today. I think one memory which comes to mind always is, well, I wasn't even born then, but my sort of family always mentions the time when a few days before I was born and my mom was heavily pregnant. That was when they had the infamous Live Aid concert in
Okay. Wembley Stadium.
Probably work out how old I am, but
I won't even tell you how old I am.
That was when Queen,
Yes.
alongside, of course, the legendary Freddie Mercury, did that epic performance, which will go down in history.
Yeah, totally.
And I remember my family always mentioning about how they watched that show days before I was born. So every time there's a clip of that playing on the TV or we talk about it, they always bring up the fact that, I was born around the same time when that huge festival and show happened. So
that was phenomenal. It was a phenomenal, not that I was there, but, like watching back and stuff, we've got Shy Guy in the house who's saying, Vic, your mum needs to party with my mum, same tastes.
Oh, really?
So we need to get all our mums together.
Let's get the mums together and party for them. Why not? Yeah.
Totally. Anjali, you've joined. Thank you for joining, my darling. Hi to you all. No, it's amazing. And it's such a different variation. Like you just mentioned Earth, Wind and Fire, Jackson's, and from ABBA to the 70s music. There's an array, and it probably just built up your knowledge, like that, coming back to that. And you must know this, Vic. A lot of these songs are being sampled now. So we would probably remember the old tracks, compared. And as you are a DJ as well, and it's just so funny how the songs are actually evolving, but we know that it's a sample from another track. That especially all the 90s stuff actually at the moment. We've got a great question here from Kevin. Hey Kicks, how do you find the mix of DJing, radio, and studio work? So you do all these. You're an amazing artist. And you're all right DJ. How do you keep it all parallel, and how do you keep yourself disciplined?
Yeah. So, hi, Kevin. Great question. So, I guess with DJing, the majority of my events tend to happen in the evening, and they can finish very late at night. So sometimes I don't get home until 5, 6 in the morning.
Wow.
So it is sometimes like a night shift. And studio time tends to happen more during the day. And there is quite a contrast because at night, I'm in a very busy, loud nightclub. And then the next day, I'm all by myself in a quiet studio, or at least it starts to be quiet. And then I turn up the speakers. And the radio show is a little bit different. It's a bit more structured. The biggest part is really just to be as organized and as structured as possible. So for my radio show, which is broadcast once a week, I need to do a lot of preparation for that radio show. I produce it myself. I curate the playlist. I organize the interviews. I organize the branding, the social media, everything. So for example, there's one day a week where I spend producing my radio show for the following week, and that's on a Thursday. So whenever it's Thursday, Thursday is my radio day. I don't spend time doing anything else, no music production. It's Thursday's my radio day, for example. And then I have other days in the week where I focus more on studio. And then other days where I focus on DJing. And even if I'm not DJing, it's something DJ related, whether that's practicing on the decks, which is really important, or whether it's doing all the admin and all the marketing around DJing. So a lot of people ask me, what do I do during the day when I'm not DJing? And the real answer is it's everything that helps me get the gigs to actually DJ. So it's
you got to put the work in, basically, don't you?
Yeah, it's all the work in, all the marketing, the social media.
Yes.
It's responding to clients' inquiries. It's the admin side of thing, invoicing, accounts, and that can take up a lot of time.
Of course,
so that's where I spend a big portion of my time. And again, like I said, it's all about having structure. There used to be a time when I would just wake up on a Monday and think, okay, so what am I doing today? I've got this, I've got that to do, I've got the radio show to do. And then there's just too many things going on in your head. And it can become very, very confusing, and you can get sidetracked quite easily.
Yes.
So I try and be as structured as possible. I write down what I'm doing. I've got a whiteboard. I set my goals. I have a diary at the start of every week. I write down everything that I'm doing. It took me a while to get into this habit, but even to the little nitty gritty details, like for example, I might say for 2 hours today, I'm going to be mixing one of my tracks. For another 2 hours, I'm going to be practicing a scratch routine on the decks. And I'm going to spend 1 hour on social media doing something marketing related. So I'd say, just
so
structure.
you're literally you're an independent artist. You do everything yourself, and you're self-taught, but then at the same time you are evolving as well, not only as an artist. So this is something that is great that you've brought up, actually, Vik. And as myself being an independent artist, it's not the fact that we just turn up to gigs. It's all the prep work, and before even the prep work, it's all the admin. I remember when I started as a solo artist, I did not anticipate the amount of admin I would have to do myself. I'd always wonder, how are all these other artists doing it? And then obviously in time I realized, okay, you've got to have some sort of business acumen with you on your side in order for you to progress. So that whether that means, starting a SoundCloud page, all these little things I had to learn myself. So what I'm trying to say is that, did you have to learn this all by yourself? Do you do anything? Are you full-time artist? Do you do anything else out of, do you have a separate life? Like I have a separate life, I have a daytime job, and then I do my music. But do you do music full-time? And then how have you found it?
Yeah, so I am full-time. So everything that I do, which I just so everything that I do, which I just mentioned, DJ, music producer, radio host, event manager. I have a private events company where I get booked for private events like weddings and things like that.
Great.
Where you saw me perform. So doing all those things, it's full time. And I just had to do it, really. Just kind of pick it up on the way, and learn from people, made mistakes. And it's interesting what you said before, because I think a lot of people, when they meet singers, musicians, and DJs, it's one of those jobs where you kind of think all that person does is what they do when they're on stage or when they're performing. Like I said before, people ask me, what are you doing when you're not DJing? Similarly, with a singer like yourself, I had a similar conversation with Navin Kundra a while back. And people always ask me, so what are you doing when you're not singing? So, for example, if you are a singer, even if you're performing 2 or 3 shows a week or even less than that, there's so much work which goes behind the scenes leading up to those gigs. So practicing, preparing, the admin side, doing vocal exercises, learning the tracks, learning the lyrics, and all these things take up time, they take up effort, and it amounts to how much an artist charges as well. But I would say, I'm certainly not complaining about any of the admin side. That's just one aspect, an important aspect of the business.
But it's an important aspect that a lot of people don't realize. That's what I'm trying to get at, Vik. We just actually don't rock up, to a show. There's a lot of groundwork that actually goes in for us to get to that stage, and make sure that we're there on time, and make sure we've done the best that we can of our abilities, because not as we love our music, that's our calling, we know that for a fact, but it's just the matter to turn it up a notch a little, that we have to do all those little things. We've got so many questions coming up, Vic, so
nice.
let's go through them. We've got Cypri in the house. Thank you, Cy, for joining.
Hi,
Big love, darling. What do you enjoy doing outside music, Vic and Rita? So I'll let you answer that first, Vic. That's a great question.
Yeah, it's a great question, Cypri, especially after I've just explained how all I do. Yeah, it's a good question. So firstly, I would say it is important to do things outside your daily routine and your career is absolutely. It's so important. For me, one big part of my life is just sort of exercising and keeping fit. So I cycle a lot now. I go to the gym very often. I started swimming again. So that's a real big part of my life is exercise. And also when I'm exercising, people quite often ask me, what am I listening to? And I do listen to music sometimes when I'm exercising, but because I've spent so much time in my day and night as well, just with music, quite often I like to just switch off when I'm exercising, or I listen to a podcast whilst I'm exercising, and that's quite refreshing as well, just to hear people speak.
And learn. As well while you're exercising.
Learn as well. Yeah, absolutely.
Very similar, Vic. I'm very similar to you. Like I found my escapism in like exercising, in fact spinning, and I'm just so excited that the fact that the gyms are back open now, that I'm able to like be on a proper spinning bike rather than something that I bought off eBay. So it's just really refreshing.
The other thing I'll also say, which is what I like to do outside of music, is I like to also go to events and shows when I can, see other artists perform, see other DJs perform, go to parties where some of my favorite DJs are there performing, and socializing and interacting with people, because at least for me, that's a big part of what I do. So on the night,
how important is that? How important?
I think it's very important, especially for I think it's very important, especially for DJ and even artists as well. On the nights where you're not working, if you can, it's always good to go out to other events and parties and see what people are into. As a DJ, I am responsible for playing music that people like, and I like to think I get it right quite often. But I don't have a crystal ball and I can't always read minds. So it's really nice and refreshing to actually go out and hear other DJs and artists perform and seeing how people interact. There's been so many times when I've gone out and I've heard a DJ play a song, or I've heard a singer do a cover version for songs which I didn't think were actually that popular, but then I see the reaction of the crowd and it's hugely popular. And then that makes me really think the use of that song, and then I might include it in one of my sets, or I might do a remix of it or something along those lines.
It's great to learn from other artists. I totally get what you say. Like even like before lockdown, we'll talk about lockdown in a bit, but being able to go out and see other artists, whether they're like established or not even established, it's just so inspiring, because you get to see what they're about, how they are pushing their music forward, and is there something that you can take away. So I'm always analyzing, and it's not even that. It's like when I'm watching TV and I'm watching an artist sing, how they like sitting, how they're breathing, all these little things, evolves me as an artist. And I think that's really important to do. And it's so great that you keep that open mind as well, Vic, to going to see other artists or other peers and colleagues, because it's just refreshing to know that support is out there. How important do you feel support is within the industry, whether it's any industry, but with music? Why is support so important?
Yeah, I mean, in the music business, which is one of the toughest industries, I think, out there, it's massively important. I think one of the main things is networking, really. So, the more people that you know in the business and the more people that know of you, the better chance you have of making connections and building bridges. And even if you're not necessarily working with lots of people in the industry, there still might be people out there who will know of you and know what you're doing. That's happened to me many times, where like, for example, I remember going to an awards show about a year and a half ago, the Urban Music Awards, and I remember meeting someone quite senior at BBC Radio there. And I was introduced to him, and straight away he was like, "Oh, Vik Toreus, I know you used to do this, used to do that." And I was actually a bit surprised. I said, "Oh, you know me?" Like, I didn't realize that. And there's been situations like that where I meet people who I didn't think would know who I am and know what I do, but just because someone isn't reaching out to you or connecting with you doesn't mean that they don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
A lot of people in the industry are keeping an eye on what people are doing, but might not necessarily reach out until their time is right.
Yes.
So I'd always say to any aspiring artist or DJ is connect with people in the industry, make yourself known, even if they don't always hit you back. And just start building bridges, and all around, just be a good person. I think that's number one. Even if you're not the best singer in the world, the best rapper, the best musician, the best DJ, it doesn't matter. I think there are a lot of people out there that will want to work with people that they like and people that they think are good people, as opposed to someone who isn't but has amazing talent. It's talent is important, but I think being a good person is probably higher than that.
It most definitely is. And I think if you've got the right head on you in terms of that having that respect and being humble about your art as well, and then being able to push that, but pushing that boundary of what you can actually offer to that person. There are times, in fact, I had a studio session with ToyRoOm this Saturday, my first one after 2 years. And he was saying to me that he mentioned that he mentioned to his peers that he's got session with me, and he said, oh, they all knew about you. And then I'm like you, like Vic, that I always think, oh my God, they know about me, they know what you do. So it's really good that that the word is getting out of your art and what you're doing and stuff. I think that's so important. We have a few artists that are joined in actually in supporting you and myself tonight, Vic. Big love to Raul Ray, who's actually going to be on next week. Big love, brother. Thank you for joining in. And we've got the one and only Anuj, all the way from across the pond. So thank you, Anuj, for joining us. Big love.
Imperial Desi in the house.
Imperial Desi representing. So we got other questions here as well for you. Let's see. This one's a good one because I was going to ask this anyway. Where did you get the inspiration for your brand name? I love the name, by the way. It's very catchy, and I know where you're going with it, but it'd be great to know, where did that come from? And how's that?
Every DJ has a story about where they came up with their brand name. Initially, because my name is Vic, I decided to call myself DJ Vic back in the day. And then there was a point in my life where I really wanted to take DJing seriously and make it into a full-time career. And I took a step back and I thought, okay, I need to brand myself. DJ Vic on its own sounds boring. There were 3 or 4 other DJ Vics I knew. So I actually just, I had kind of a structured approach to it. I wrote down all the names which I liked and I thought it was cool. Some really crazy ones, really crazy interpretations of DJ Vic. I wanted Vic in the name. I didn't want anything else. And then a friend of mine suggested Vik Toreus. I think he may have suggested it spelled a slightly different way. And he just said, he encouraged me to use like a play on words. So obviously Victorious sounds like victorious, I'm winning, victory, all that type of stuff. So and also it sounds a little bit European, a bit continental as well. Fits my style. I play a lot of music from around the world and of course all across Europe, and I've traveled and performed all around Europe as well. So it just sort of fit and made sense. At first I wasn't too sure, but then 3 friends of mine were encouraging and they just said, just stick with it. I think it sounds pretty cool. And then sometimes it isn't just about the DJ name, it's about how you market and how you brand it as well. So and then I just grew the brand from there.
No, that's great, and you've made it your own, and that's the main thing. When I first started out, I didn't think about that, and I'll be honest, I just literally put my name out there. And I just think that should I have a stage name and should I have that, and it's just one of those things, if I turn around and change my branding now, I'll have to change literally everything. So I'll just stick with Rita Morar. And in fact, I have to share with you, Vic, that when I first started out in 2010, then like a couple of years later, Rita Ora came on the scene. So a lot of people were like, Rita Ora, Rita Morar, and it was like, oh my God, what do I do with myself? And I thought, the people that know me for Rita Morar and who I am within the electronic scene. So I just stuck with Rita Morar, but that's why.
I mean, I know DJs who've come up with a name and then few years later, a bunch of other DJs come up with the same name as well, and there can be a bit of confusion. So I'd say if you're starting out as an artist or a DJ or a musician, do spend time thinking about your name. It is important. Look at what's marketable. Also very importantly, look at what can easily be found on Google search as well. Then you pick something that you're comfortable with, that's true to you, that's authentic, and then afterwards, most importantly, something that you can brand quite easily as well. Like for example, DJ Snake, one of the biggest DJs in the world. Like when I first heard his name, DJ Snake, I didn't think it was the coolest name, but it doesn't matter now. He's just such a huge monster brand, and the way his marketing team, I've done everything around him. Doesn't matter what his name is. It's just anything that he does just hits really hard.
Totally. So moving on from the brand and that, and then you've talked about how multicultural your music is, and we've talked, and we're going to talk about United Colors in a bit. But how much have you learned from like all the international artists out there, and what actually persuaded you to put United Colors on as well? Is it just on Ruckus Avenue on Twitch? Is that where you push it forward? So why don't you talk about that now?
Sure.
Where did that come about?
Yeah, sure. So United Colors is a weekly radio show which I host, which specializes specifically in world, fusion, and global music. So it's music from all corners of the globe, mixed together in a unique and creative way. So people know me for quite often doing creative mixes which incorporate songs and themes and samples from different continents and cultures. So the radio show is basically all about that, and South Asian music is a big part of that. So we play South Asian music, but we also mix it in with music from different continents and cultures. So Latin America, Middle Eastern music, many types of African music, not just Afro beats, but East African music and South African music, Afro house, hip hop as well, European music, Chinese music. So and it's showing the listeners that you can listen to songs in a different language from different parts of the world, and it can all make sense as well in one body of work. The idea came from basically something I'd been meaning to do a while back. I think I had the idea a couple of years ago, and it was really when I came back from a flight on Australia. I was DJing in Australia, and the client that booked me, I think one of the things that they said was they really enjoyed the fact that I was playing music from different parts of the world. So at that party, I was playing Indian music, I was playing Latino music, and I was playing African music, and that gave me the idea of doing monthly mixes where I incorporate all these different styles of world music together. And at first, it was supposed to be a monthly mix series. And afterwards, Ruckus Avenue Radio got in touch with me, and I presented the idea of actually creating a weekly world music show as opposed to monthly mixes. It just made a lot of sense. So then I set up the radio show. It used to be called United Colors with India, as a play of words with United Colors of Bennington. I even did the logo like that.
I was thinking, were you affiliated with that? Is there affiliation, right?
It was just like a easy branding sort of cop out to get people's attention. But
it was great though. It worked.
I changed it just to United Colors. I felt that I didn't need the with India part or the sort of United Colors of Benton theming around it and the colors and everything else, because I thought it had grown to a concept in its own right, and I wanted to kind of build it up on its own. And it's, although the with India part suggests that Indian music is a big part of it, and it is, it's not just Indian music. There are many different styles of music from different parts of the world that we incorporate. So now it's just United Colors, and that's what it's about. It's about uniting different styles of music and just bringing happiness the music, really.
And again, I've tuned into a couple of your shows, Vic, and it's been so inspirational, and I won't forget the last one I actually was tuned into via Twitch, and you played like this amazing French artist, and it's just the fact that you went from like a Arabic track to a French artist, and I thought that was just so out of the box. It's just amazing that you have that niche that you do that. And then, you know, it opens up your horizons and it opens up other people as well, you know, to like that there is music out there that you can hear because you'll feel it. Again, we're coming back to music and how it's healing and how it makes you feel good. You know, I know when I hear a foreign track, if I get transported there, or I feel I go back to one of my memories of my holidays, or, you know, like Marrakesh or something like that. So it's just really great that you do that. You say that you've performed around the world as well, Vik. You know, like have you got any great memories of your favorite show abroad? And obviously we're in lockdown, you know, we'll get to lockdown, but you know, what's been your best favorite show so far?
There's been so many, actually. It's really hard to, it's really hard to name one. There's been so many, actually. I'd say I mean, two which come to mind is, Thailand. So I did this enormous luxury wedding in Thailand, which was breathtaking. That was a great experience. You know, it didn't feel like a wedding. It actually seemed like a concert. That's how massive it was. I did.
How many people?
Sorry?
How many people?
The thing is that there wasn't, well, actually there were a lot of people, but it wasn't like in the thousands, you know, there were about 200 or so people, but it still felt so big. And the production was just on another level. I always have a great time every time I go to Boston as well. So I have DJ friends in Boston who booked me, and I always have a great time there as well. Great people, the style of music which they enjoy is very mixed, very varied, fits what I do, and it's quite similar to many of the venues which I play at in London.
So you play around London as well. What do you like about playing around town, and how much have you missed it as a DJ since we've been in lockdown?
So at the start of lockdown, it was quite refreshing, actually, just to not be out on the weekends or at night, and just sort of spend more time in the studio, really, restructuring, rethinking my career, and spending more time making music and doing all the things which I had always wanted to do but never had a chance to do because I was busy with gigs and other projects. So at first it was quite nice to have that reset. But then as the months went by, I just missed DJing so much, you know, massively. And the whole, of course, live streaming is absolutely massive. And, you know, at first with Instagram Live and Twitch and everything else, I didn't really jump onto it straight away because for me, I always thought DJing was, the best thing about DJing was playing in front of people and being in the flesh. So the live streaming didn't really appeal to me at first. Afterwards, I couldn't resist it because I just wanted to play, you know, even if it's in front of a couple of people in a virtual environment on live or on a screen, that's still better than playing for myself. I did it a few times and actually I really enjoyed it. And then onwards, I actually did a few, well, actually more than a few. I did several live shows, live streams, virtual concerts as well. I did a virtual concert with Navin Kundra last month, which I think you attended as well. And then I get booked for virtual shows now. And, you know, I've got a whole green screen set up in my studio and Twitch as well. So we celebrated our 100th episode of United Colours on Twitch. Although we don't do every week on Twitch. That was a one-off special.
Oh wow! So that was a one-off special. Oh,
that was a one-off special.
That was part of that.
But you can watch that one-off special back. On,
please
Twitch.
Do go and check it out, guys. You know, it was a really special show. I really enjoyed it. In fact, I'll probably play it while I'm working tomorrow. You know, it was so good. The mix was
but I mean. But and live streaming is great, but you know nothing can actually beat the experience of being in front of people for real, feeling that energy, interacting with people. You know, as a DJ, that's what I grew up with, and that's what I want to go back to. So things are opening up now, and you know bookings are coming through, and I can't wait to be performing in front of people regularly. You know,
But isn't it funny how it's opened us up to like a different kind of crowd, whether, you know, like being in lockdown, like, you know, you said that you started to get booked for virtual parties and you're doing your own thing, and then you set up your own green screen and that like flip it for me, that I never even thought that Music Hills would like take on its own like little flight, you know, some little concept that I had, and I didn't know where I was going with it as well. So it's just really great that we've been able to not come out of our box, but flourish as artists at what else we can do. And that's a great thing about music, that we can take it to whichever way that we want to, as long as you're ready to put the groundwork in. And, you know, again, as you mentioned earlier, Vic, that it's so essential that we do that.
Absolutely, yeah. And I still meet people today, and I'm telling them about live streaming, and and some of them, not all, some of them do say, oh, I can't be bothered. I want to go out and do it for real. But what I'm saying to all those people who doubt live streaming or seeing artists like yourself and what you're doing is, you know, we're in such a great position now, or we were in, where you can see your favorite artists, or you can discover new artists online, whether it's live, or, you know, whether it's live or not. Like, for example, with Twitch, you know, one evening I can go and I can watch 10 of my favorite DJs. You couldn't do that before, right? No. You couldn't do that physically, but now I can actually see them perform, and I've gained so much. So I wouldn't think of live streaming and virtual shows as a replacement for
just a separate entity in its
it's a separate entity in its own right, and you know, it has grown into a separate market, and you know, it will be there for the foreseeable future.
And the thing again, you know, and this is time and time I say throughout Music Hills, that we are blessed with social media. It's a blessing in itself for us artists, that we are still be able to communicate with our fans and followers, and you know, people that connect with our music. So it's just wonderful to see that the different platforms and how we've moved on, and from Instagram. Now, like you first said, like you know, it took you a few months to like jump on it. It was like for me as well. Even I started Music Hills in March. I didn't start doing my own like little. I was doing little covers. But now, you know, like bringing the concept of R&B Bolly mashup and everything, it's just the matter. I've got all the equipment at home. I can do it at home now. And it's just a separate entity. And it is really great that we have that path, should we ever require it, you know. But you are right in terms of live. My heart is live, you know. I can't wait for the stage to be open again and to be singing in front of a live audience. And that is where my heart is. And I'm sure, you know, as you just said as well, that it's just their reactions, right? And it's just like people dancing and like just vibing to your mixes and stuff. You know I get excited when I hear a great DJ and they've mixed in something. I think that probably when you would on your Twitch, obviously you couldn't see me, but I'm like, oh my God, you've just like mixed that into that. Oh my God, you know. And so I was having loads of those moments. So next time I'll keep my video and then you can watch me do it.
Absolutely.
But no, it's good.
Yeah, and just to add to that, and I think a lot of other professional DJs will attest to this as well. There's a certain feeling that you get as a performer, as a DJ, when you play a song or you do a mix that you absolutely love, and when you execute that in the way that you think is perfect, and the reaction you get from the crowd is just mind-blowing. There's a certain feeling that you get where you think, wow, they actually enjoyed that, and that was flawless, and it's just goosebumps. And nothing can, you know, your money can't buy that feeling. It's just an incredible feeling. I've had it many times in the past before. You don't have it every night. It doesn't always happen. But that feeling I have had many times in the past, and it's like you've taken the best drug in the world.
It's a proper high, and it just keeps going from that, you know. Like, but from the goodness, you know, obviously you get certain people as well, you know. I'm being honest here, you know, that probably don't vibe to what you've done, but then that's good though, because you're learning from that. You're learning to see, you know, what you're putting out there. It's always, you know, it's always yin and yang, always, as an artist. You know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and that's the beauty of being a live performer, because you'll know that you'll be able to, you know, like for me, I won't sing it that way like I sang it, you know, or won't go out into the crowd and stuff, and you're just ever evolving. Who are your inspirations, Vic? Let's talk about, like, you know, we've talked about your mum and dad's, like, you know, growing up and stuff, but then you moved into like probably DJing. So do you still play like the piano or guitar? That's one thing I'd like to know.
I do, not professionally. Like I wouldn't be able to perform. Well, I probably could perform live in front of an audience, but it's not something I'm looking to do at the moment. You know, my aspiration is not to be a live guitar or piano player. I do a few things. So I do play, obviously, when I'm making music for Instagram videos and for content. I can do a few things here and there.
Okay, amazing.
But you know, my aspiration is to be an artist, musician, producer, and a DJ.
Yeah.
I have started to incorporate the keyboard in some of my live shows, and the guitar as well.
Really
I've done
good.
DJ sets with the guitar.
Yeah.
That's something that I'm going to be working on a bit more, just to take
Amazing.
my performances to another level.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you might see more of that in the coming months and years. But in terms of my inspirations, it's really, really mixed. I have so many, everyone from like the legends, Muhammad Rafi, A.R. Rahman, all the way to some of the new artists as well. The ones you mentioned before, Jackson 5, Michael Jackson, Queen, Freddie Mercury, Earth, Wind and Fire, James Brown. There's such a long list. Music producers, of course, like the legends, Swiss Beats, Neptunes, Timbaland, Mike Shinoda. There's lots and lots of musicians and producers which I always look up to, and that I'm in awe of.
Yeah. What about DJs? Is there someone that that catches your eye when you want to vibe, or is it just really the energy that you're feeling at that time, and then you just like clock into whoever you're feeling? Is there anyone particular that you love, like just chilling out to?
Yeah. I mean, DJs in terms of like DJs who perform.
Yes.
Again, there's many. There's like the legends, DJ Jazzy Jeff, who I've been a huge fan of from day one. Scratch Bastard is another one. DJ Puffy. These are all award-winning, like global DJs. Diplo as well, for everything that he's done in the world music scene. There are so many. Vice, DJ EZ in the UK. That's like a really hard question to answer because I've got so many. And I'm finding new DJs all the time now on Twitch, live stream platforms. Disclosure, there's like a huge list. I need to write these down one day.
And in fact, you can see what Shais has written, the names you've mentioned. Please remember these from our wedding place. Don't worry, Vic, you've got this on YouTube. You can always watch it back anyway. Oh, Shai, you're funny.
Shai wants me to DJ for his wedding.
Shai told me to sing for him as well, I think. So we're going to have to sort something out.
Great.
Brilliant. Okay, so we've talked about your journey, we've talked about your aspirations and how you are as an artist. I'm just seeing if there are any other questions out there before we move on to Song of Solace. Sure. I think we've one more from Kali. What genre of music do you find easy to mix? I don't know, that's an interesting one. Is it just
What genre of music do I find easiest to mix? Technically, I'd probably say dance music, floor dance music. That's not the most difficult to mix, I'd say. There are different ways of mixing. If we're talking sort of basic blending, then I'd say probably house music is probably house music and dance music is up there. Sometimes when I'm doing a set, I might challenge myself. I might not just mix tracks in the most obvious way. I might try and get creative. I might try and mix in acapellas over. I might try find a certain part of the song, which isn't the start of the song. It's not even the chorus, and I might try and mix that, and I might try and loop a certain part, drop in a sample, add some effects, and just try and do something a little bit creative. I think with music and with DJs, it's very easy to get into a habit of mixing tracks from the beginning, which is what you generally tend to do: intro, chorus or verse, and then outro, etc. There's a certain formula which just tends to work. I get a bit bored of that.
That's a cop out, I guess. So it's just the easy way, to be more creative. And
so sometimes I try and be creative and just and then try and challenge myself live or in the studio.
Yeah, that's great. So let's move on to your Song of Solace now. So thank you everybody that's joined in so far. We really appreciate these great questions and all the artists as well that are here. I can see Rara Lard are here. Big love to you ladies. Thank you for joining. You can check their Music Heals episode also on YouTube a couple of months back. It was an amazing one. So let's talk about Song of Solace. So I'll just explain it to everyone, Vic, what it is. So for if you've joined in first time on Music Hills today. Hi, my name is Rita Morar. I'm actually a music fusion artist, and we've got Vik Toreus in the house today on Music Hills. And one of the questions, the only question that I get to prep and get my guests to prep is the Song of Solace. Now, anyone that's been on the Song of Solace, they've always said to me, oh my gosh, how are we going to just choose one song? So one song that you go to, and this one song goes onto a Spotify playlist that I actually have under my artist profile on Spotify. So if you go to my artist profile, you'll be able to see #Music Hills, and then you'll be able to see Rishi Rich's Song of Solace, Apache Indian Song of Solace, like all amazing, everyone that's been on has been asked this question. Now with Vik, when I asked him this question, he was straight on it. He just didn't wait around, and he knew it, and that's what I absolutely love. But we're going to talk about what made you choose your track. So Vik, how did you narrow it down, and did you already know that was going to be your track? And then obviously we'll reveal it.
Yeah. So do you want me to say the name or just?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. So the Song of Solace, which I picked, was Linkin Park Crawlin'. Yeah. So the reason why I picked that song is because if you know me personally, you know that I'm a huge Linkin Park fan. So there are many, many different bands that I absolutely love and I follow. Like I said, I'm actually a big rock and indie fan, heavy metal fan.
See, I wouldn't have known that.
Yeah, massive rock fan, and one of the main reasons why is because I started playing guitar at a young age, and electric and classical and acoustic, so it kind of stems from that. But there are many great bands out there, but I think we always tend to remember the artists and the musicians at sort of when you're sort of between 10 and 14 years old, those teenage years when your emotions start to build, and you go through puberty or whatever it is, it's a moment in your life that is
and it's an iconic moment in your life.
Iconic moment. And I think for me growing up, I came across Linkin Park when they literally just released their first EP, even before their first album, and there was a lot of hype around them, and I just fell in love with the music. It just really it just really hit me. It really hit home. Not just the production of the music, which I thought was of such a high caliber. It was the lyrics as well, and what they were saying, to the point where I would actually Google. I don't think Google was around then. I think it was Yahoo. I would search for their songs, the lyrics for their songs. On my dial-up internet back in the day, and I would download them, and I would read them. And just reading the lyrics actually on a sheet of paper, it was almost like poetry. So I was blown away by the lyrics in some of these songs. And from their first album, Hybrid Theory, I know all the lyrics. I could probably sing my heart out to every one of those songs. And the song which I chose, actually, it's quite it's not a happy song. It's quite it's quite a deep song, which is about hurting, and it's about going through discomfort and depression. And not to say that I was going through these things as a teenager, but many kids were back then. Many kids were feeling out of place or feeling stress or didn't know who they were growing up. And, I think a lot of kids that age can go through that. And bands like Linkin Park and the music they were putting out really touched a lot of these kids and myself back then. And so I became a huge fan of them. And every time I hear that song, it just really hits home. And it's one of those songs I can listen to over and over again in the car, and I will never get bored of. And Linkin Park is one of the few bands where their first album was so big and so successful that their next album was a remix of the first album, which is crazy. You don't hear that nowadays,
No, you don't. No, I didn't even know that.
That was just mad. And I'm actually wearing a Linkin Park t-shirt right now.
Hey, look at you, true fan from the jump.
Yeah, the custom shirt a couple of months ago. So I'm actually wearing a shirt now. So that's amazing. So that's my song of choice, Linkin Park, Crawlin'. The reanimation version, Crawlin', is amazing too, especially with the strings and the violin and the cello that they all incorporate. So I highly encourage you to check that out as well. And of course, rest in peace to Chester Bennington.
Chester, I was going to just mention Chester. He was a wordsmith with his music, and I'm into I rock quite a lot as well, you know. And when I want to chill out too, I do listen to, like, I still listen to Guns N' Roses. I still listen to, like, you know, the hard hitting tracks. And Chester Bennington is just, you know, God rest his soul. And when he passed on, it was a huge shock to the whole system, you know. And in fact, they brought out, I think, another album after he passed, and it's the first song. I can't remember what it's called, Vic. I should have done my research, but I'll send you the link actually. And
sure.
It was beautiful because you can hear just the pain in his voice, and you know, and he is just phenomenal through and through. And you know, you don't get many artists like that in your lifetime. So you know, when you chose Linkin Park, I thought, wow, you know, I didn't expect that from you, Vic. But that's the beauty of Music Heals, because, you know, I get to know, like, you know, the creatives and what they really love, and, you know, what they chill out to.
It's not a song that you would play in a DJ set. I don't think I've ever heard any DJ play that in a at least in a mainstream set. But you know, there's lots of music that I do listen to which isn't just party DJ music.
But it's great that you do. I think, you know, as a artist, you need to, as we said earlier on, you need to keep your ears open. All right, I'll be honest with you, I don't connect with country music, you know, but if I did, it'd probably be a bit of Dolly Parton. But apart from that, you know, I can't connect with it for some reason. But then, you know, I chill out to hip hop music, whereas my husband listens to Bhangra music, and it's just your own. This is what it comes down to, how much music has an impact in our lives. Whether we, like, you know, as you know, that I sing like a fusion, I sing Hindi, English, whatever. But when it comes down to me chilling out, it's all about hip hop. And then, you know, you're like listening to rock. And so anyone out there, let us know what you listen to as well. It'd be really interesting to hear about that and why you listen to it.
And actually just going back, sorry to interrupt, but just going back to the United Colours. One of the main inspirations for me actually doing this radio show was because I've been exposed to different styles of music from around the world, you know, music which is not even sung in English from all my travels. And again, it wouldn't, and some of those types of songs aren't really the ones that you would typically include in a mainstream commercial DJ set. But when I traveled to some of these countries, whether it's in South America or in Africa, and I saw how people were feeling it and what it did to them, I could see how important some of this music was to them and what it made them feel. And that was inspired me to actually do this world music radio show. You know, I think listening to all types of music, I'd say for any kind of aspiring like musician or artist or DJ, and just open your ears as much as possible and try and listen to as many different styles of music that you can. Even, you know, you won't like everything, but just keep on exploring and keep on listening to different styles of music, old and new, and it will just give you ideas. Like some of the best DJs I've seen do the most creative things have taken songs which you wouldn't even expect a DJ to kind of typically play and include that into a mix which is dance music or hip hop or whatever that a DJ typically would play at a party. And you know, the combination is just crazy.
It's totally crazy. Vix, you've got another question for Vic. Have you DJed in Cape Town? They have a phenomenal music scene. I was even blown away.
I've not DJed in Cape Town. I have in Zanzibar, but I would love to. A great scene there, great South African Afro house scene. Afro house is really big over there. I was downloading some Afro house music from some underground artists the other day, and it's just brilliant. It's very soulful, and it's they tend to use lots of real live instruments. The dance music they produce, as opposed to it just being purely electronic. A DJ I spoke to recently plays a lot of that music, and he calls it organic house. That's his term, which is quite cool. So that scene is really big at the moment in South Africa. And I'd say to kind of anyone else, any other DJ, is just go to as many parties as you can as well, and events. Like, that's where you will really appreciate this music. Like I kind of appreciate Afro house music as an example, because I went to some Afro house parties and I saw what it was doing to people, and I felt it. I was in the moment, and I felt it, and I heard it on a big sound system. Whereas if I just heard it on my iPod at home, I may not have got the same feeling. I might it's cool. I'm like, yeah, it's cool, but I don't know if it's going to be playing this type of thing. But when you're there in that party and you can feel it and you can feel the energy, and you're like, wow, people, you know, this is good, because you can just feel that, you can feel the sound, and you can just get immersed into that moment. That will not only make you fall in love with the song and artist, but it can actually make you fall in love with an entire genre of music. And that's what's happened to me with many genres over the years.
Immersing yourself into music, and then just opening up your heart and ears and everything, you know, because then that and you know what you just spoke about, the scene that they have, you know, there are amazing artists. There's actually one lady called Tyler, and I believe she's only 18, very young, and one of her songs, BBC Extra tend to play it quite a lot, and then only after we found it was actually a South African artist, and we thought, wow, you know, this is so fresh, and it's so great to hear that, like, even commercial radios are now starting to pick up on that, and that it's not just, you know, usual pop or dance or whatever, you know, the Diplos of the scene, and that, you know, although Diplo is amazing at what he does.
Absolutely.
So we're coming up to I can't believe it, an hour's just gone just like that. You know, we could just talk on and on and on. Before you go, so you've given some nuggets for aspiring artists out there. Coming down to the nitty-gritty, what 3 points would you, again, you know, like, say to anybody that's aspiring to be a DJ out there, or, you know, wanting to do music full-time? What are 3 points could you give to them in order to help them push their way through?
Well, I'm still learning as well, you know. Sometimes I feel like I'm a beginner, so I'm always asking the same question as well to other more established musicians and artists. I mean, what I've learned from the years is 3 pieces of advice. So I'd say, number one, do it for the passion. You know, do it because you love what you do. You love music. That's like the main thing. You know, you know, fame and getting attention and you know, money, and that all comes afterwards.
That's the extra blessing that you get.
Yes, I'd say the main thing is do it for the passion. You know, don't even think about social media numbers, and that's probably the number one thing, is just make sure the passion is there. Like, it's really, really there, like to the point where like you're happy to perform without getting paid. You know, so if you want to become a DJ, for example, you really have to be into the music to the point where you're happy to do gigs without getting paid at first. You know? So I'd say get to that point, because all the great DJs I know, including myself, the first couple of gigs that we did, or even more, were actually non-paying gigs. And I know that for many musicians as well. So that's number one, make sure the passion is really, really there. Number two, I'd say, is think long-term as well. It's very easy just to kind of experiment and try and see what happens. But if you can, once you've gone past that stage that this is something that you want to get more into, think long-term, where you want to be 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. It is really, really difficult. But the more you can do long-term and set out your goals and your milestones, the quicker you'll be able to achieve things. I feel anyway. And the third thing I'd say is have a good mentor. You know, see if you can get hold of a mentor. If there is someone that you know who can work with you and interact with you, meet with you, speak with you, that's a really good thing. And a mentor, I feel, doesn't have to be someone you necessarily have to speak to on a regular basis. It can be someone that you watch and you learn from. Like, I feel I have many mentors online that I've never met, I've never spoken to, but I really like their content and what they're saying, and I follow what they're doing. So have a good mentor, or, you know, maybe, I don't know, maybe mentor's not the right word, but have artists who have
inspiration, really, you know, how they're moving forward within their scene and their career. That's really
Yeah,
important, actually,
yeah,
Vic. That a lot of people, a lot of creatives have actually mentioned mentors and that, but
yeah.
you've given a different spin to it. That even if there isn't the mentor there physically, who is out there, like who, like for me, my one of my new mentors online is Janae Aiko, because of just how much she's
Mm.
incorporating chakras and how she's incorporating loads of, like, what is the meaning of music, and obviously because of Music Hills and what have you. That's who I'm learning from as well. So if there is anybody out there that you are aspiring to as a DJ, as an
Yeah,
artist, just follow their footsteps. I mean, like, even like
absolutely. Yeah,
biographies, and read and like listen to their interviews and see what, in fact, Vic Drums actually told me about this, when I was
yeah,
like feeling a bit lost, like when I first started out. He's like, listen, watch any like artists that you aspire to like and move it forward. So it's really
yeah.
interesting that you've said that, Vic, and I
Absolutely,
really
and
appreciate that.
absolutely, and I can't think of a better time now than ever in the music and media world, where everything is so accessible now, right?
Yeah.
We didn't have the internet 30, 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
The social media wasn't there. You couldn't just go
Mm-hmm.
online and see your favorite artists or new
Yeah.
artists or discover new music.
Mm.
The technology has come to a point where everything is so accessible now. There is
Yes.
really no excuse. You've got all the tools that you need. You don't necessarily need someone to teach you every single thing step by step.
Yeah.
It's all there online. A lot of it's free.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to put in the work, really. You just have to put in the time and the work. And
Mm.
the one other gem I would sort of give, not really a gem, but it's a piece of advice. And I
Yeah.
think Rishi Rich mentioned this as well on an Instagram live he did a few months back, or probably even further back. And
Yes.
that is probably a bit of advice for not just an aspiring musician or artist, but someone who's been in the industry, is really know the music business, right? It's a
Yeah.
business. Like,
Yeah.
you have to really know the
Yeah.
business,
Mm-hmm.
learn
Mm-hmm.
how record labels work, how
Mm-hmm.
royalties work,
Yeah.
publishing,
Yeah.
all those types of things. Learn how
Yeah.
it works.
Yeah.
Learn how to make a song, finish a song, mix it, master it, release it, distribute it, promote it, market it. All those
Yeah.
things you do when you're not
Yeah.
performing takes up a lot of
Yeah.
time, and that's
Gosh,
when you're
does it take up a lot of time?
yeah,
Oh my
when you're not
gosh.
seeing,
Yeah.
yeah, when you're not seeing us on social media, these are all the things that we do.
Yeah.
It has to be,
Mm.
done.
Mm.
I think with social media, without going on a bit of a tangent, the thing you have to
No,
think
no,
about
that's fine.
that is, and it's hard to not have this conversation without mentioning social media, because it's such a big
Of
part of our
course.
lives. But
Yeah, of course.
you have to remember, with social media, you only see the good side of people. You only
Yeah.
see the great things that they're doing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rubbish out there, a lot of rubbish work that artists are doing, including myself as well, that you just don't see because we don't post
Yeah.
it online. But
Yeah. Yeah.
we do all that to ensure that we can get through those hurdles, we learn more, and that we can
Mm.
put out great content and music once it's
Yeah.
refined, been through
You
all that.
need to, like, any industry you get into, but especially the music industry, there's so much that you need to know as a artist, whether you're a DJ, where you're just a creative, right? But if
Yeah,
you are going to be at one point in your life putting music out there, you're not just putting music out. Okay, you can put it on SoundCloud, you can put it on YouTube, but hang on a minute, if you're making that music from scratch, what about your royalties? In fact, it's funny that you should say that, Vic. A lot of some artists that I've come across, they don't even know what PRS is all about, and it's such a shame that there isn't a governing body within our industry. Maybe there is. I'm not sure. There's musicians union, but you only get that advice if
yeah,
you are a member. But if you're not a member and people don't know about musicians union, how are you going to know whether you need performing rights and you need licenses to film? You need, so many things. And it's such a shame, and I hope that, somebody listens out there to push that forward, because as an artist, you need to just move that forward yourself, right? Whether it's performing, royalties, licensing, and making sure all your brand and your advertising, even like, when I first started out, Vic, I couldn't understand why people were promoting other people. And then I realized that they actually have like PR companies that they've paid to promote themselves.
yeah,
So all these like little things, it always matters. So like, even if you'll have to put like a budget aside in order to evolve yourself, that budget, you know, you're not going to lose because it's going to come another way around, you know, whether, not saying that you have to spend so much, but if you're starting out, just see who would help you, you know, be part of networks, be part of forums. You know, we've got Clubhouse now, we've got SoundCloud. You can get your music out to any aspiring artist that you aspire to. You never know, they may listen to you. Now, I'm still starstruck the fact that Nitin Soni and Naughty Boy follow me. You know, nothing's come out of it yet, but yeah, you know, whatever my music I'm putting out, that they are seeing, and you know, that way we are all still evolving. So yeah, don't limit yourself, guys. You know, whatever happens, and if you don't try, this is a quote from my husband, from Kevin, and big love Kevin for this. If you don't try, you will never know. And he always tells me this, and that's how, you know, we will move forward. And it is just amazing, Vik. So passion, think long term, and trying to get a mentor of some sort. Amazing. Thank you, Vik. Vik, where can people find you? It's just been amazing chatting to you. You know, it's been really great, you know, seeing this side of you and like learning just how much work you put in. You do put in a lot of work, you know, and it's very, I commend you for that, because being an independent artist, I understand how hard it is, but yet, you know, you're just constantly on the go with doing everything. So, you know, well done for that. Where can we find you online?
Yeah, so thanks very much for having me on your show. It's truly an honor. And some of the guests which you mentioned in the past, like Apache India, Navin Kundra, Rishi Rich, you know, I'm a huge fan of those. So it's a true honor for being on your show. Everyone can find me on all the main social platforms: Vik Toreus, VikToreus, Instagram, Triller, TikTok.
You're on TikTok, yeah? Somebody else, are you on TikTok?
Yeah, I am, but I'm a little bit more active on Triller.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
I haven't sussed Triller out yet. I think I should get onto that.
Triller is like the they just emailed me today about some opportunity, but Triller is actually like an alternative version to TikTok. Yeah, it works in a very similar way. It's US owned as well, and they're really I mean, in this country, TikTok is probably the more popular platform at the moment, but Triller's pushing really hard now. They're sponsoring huge events, and they've got huge artists on as part of their marketing campaign. So it's interesting to see where they go with it. And so I'm on there. But Instagram is the main platform where I'm active on. Facebook, YouTube as well. And yeah, if anyone wants to get in touch regarding music, opportunities, events, collaborations, bookings for events or clubs, festivals, weddings, you know, feel free to DM me on Instagram. I'm very active. You know, I check my messages all the time. So once again, that's VikTreus. The radio show United Colours airs every week, Tuesdays, 7 p.m. in the UK. It's on Rockers Avenue Radio, which is the most listened to South Asian radio station in the world, officially, on a global level. And every week you can tune into them via the Dash Radio platform. So you just download the Dash Radio app, type in Rockers Avenue Radio, and then you can listen to me live 7 p.m. every Tuesday. You can listen.
Please do check it out, guys. Please do check it out. It's an amazing show.
Yeah. And you can listen back to the episodes on my Mixcloud page as well. So I'm very active on Mixcloud. So mixcloud.com/Vik Toreus. Everything Vik Toreus, VikToreus.
Amazing. Thank you, Vik. And what have you got coming up? Have you got anything new coming up? Or is it we just got to keep an eye out on all those pages?
Yeah, there's lots more coming up, actually. So there's more cinematic DJ videos, more really cool Instagram content coming up. New music as well, some dance tracks, some house tracks. I'm also working on an EP as well, which is sort of, I wouldn't say like just remixes, but almost like advanced remixes of well-known Hindi songs, incorporating different elements of world music. So that's quite a cool project I'm doing at the moment. So all this is in the pipeline for 2021. So yeah, stay locked. Lots of exciting stuff, lots of exciting new music as well. And on my radio show as well, United Colours, we are looking forward to inviting some guests as well over the coming weeks and months. So stay locked for that.
Yeah, amazing. Sounds promising, Vik. And listen, you know, we can't wait to get you back out there. And once lockdown is done, then, you know, just keep us updated with all
Yeah,
your shows, and we'll come to one of your shows and watch your mixes and just go mad, you know.
awesome.
But do come back on Music Hills. Let us know how it's going, and we will keep supporting everything that you're doing as well. So thank you
Yeah,
so
yeah,
much.
I'd love to. Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, thank you so much once again, Rita. Yeah,
No
all the
worries,
best.
Vic. All the best. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, thank you. Take care.
And that was Vik Toreus. Wow, so many gems there. I hope you guys who are aspiring out there, you know, you take it away and listen to what Vic has been saying, because it's just amazing when like somebody has been working so hard at their field that, you know, it's not just like that we are literally there. You have to take the small steps in order to get to where you are. And I will always say this as an artist myself, an independent artist, all this that happens doesn't just happen just like that. You know, we without your support, without your love, we are not here today. So, you know, you play a big vital role as well. So thank you so much for being there for us. musichills.info if you want more information about Music Hills, and if you want to support me, I want to say my birthday's coming up, so if you want to buy me something, buy me a coffee, and then just keep Music Hills running for you guys. I know you guys are enjoying it, and it means so much to me. So just having your support as well will just mean the most to me. Nimesh, I have to get this comment in. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all your love, and thank you everybody that's tuned in. Next week, we have Raul Ray in the house. Great artist, a great rapper, works so hard, independent artist. He was on Music Hills last year, and I've invited him back just to find out what he's been up to and how his music has been coming along. So make sure you clock in for that, and I will see you next week. Thank you so much for everyone joining in. My name is Rita Morar, and you can follow me on Facebook, Rita Morar Music, and you can also check me out on YouTube. Please do like this video. Please do share it. Spread the word for Music Hills, and we're getting it out there. All right, guys. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next week. One love. Bye.